the things that bring us pleasure, joy, fulfillment, satisfaction, the things that do come easily for us, all of that happens because we're pre-qualified. We have natural tendencies for a reason. Our DNA we were created with pre-qualifies us.
If you're not conscious about your investment strategy, you won't end up where you want to be, not financially or as a human. On this show, we interview highly successful investors and share how they overcame limitations to become unstoppable forces of success. If you're ready to learn what it is to be a conscious investor so you can end up where you want, keep listening.
Welcome back, Conscious Investor. Pre-qualified for life and living. This is such an important episode because I see so many people and they are living these lives where they are extras. They are supporting cast members in other people's lives instead of living their life. And I'm using that pronoun there because conscious investor, I believe fully that you are on the path of being or becoming the architect of your life. That's what I want to talk about today because I've recently come across this woman. I was in conversation and she said, you can't help me. I'm just too far gone. And I've heard other people say, I'm just so broken. There's no putting me back together again. When I hear people say this, and when I heard this woman say this, she's an extremely accomplished, successful woman. I looked at her, we were in person. I looked at her and I said, you're not broken. You're just fine the way you are. And she did not know what to do with those words. In my life, conscious investor, that I had a really rough time breaking into adulthood in my early 20s. I had a lot of really hard knocks, things that set most people back. I went down that path where I became suicidal. Like it was so intense and it could have consumed me. But this still small voice of God is so kind. And I knew it's going to be okay. I'm not broken. I'm not irreparable. And here's the reason why, even if we feel like we're so far gone and we're never going to have the life that we want, we can't live the life we want in things like that. So we're just going to subordinate our lives and we're going to please everybody else and we're going to live in the land of their script. That's not what we were called to do. So I want to encourage you today, conscious investor, with these words. You are pre-qualified, not for a loan, maybe, not for a credit card. You are already pre-qualified to live and lead the life of your dreams. I'm going to go into this a little bit deeper. Think about this. Every single human being has unique DNA. We were all so uniquely created. In fact, my faith is central to my life. In Psalms, it says, Lord, you knit me together in my mother's womb. Like we are divinely created. We are divinely put together so uniquely. And with that comes the pre-qualification. Nobody on earth will ever, not ever, be able to be you. You are the one, the only you, which means you're the only person that is pre-qualified to play the starring cast role in your life's script, in that narrative. You are the only one that is pre-qualified to be the architect of your life. And by that, I mean, no one else is going to understand the script of your life like you, because you are directly connected to that script. It is hardwired, pre-packed right in all of your DNA. And when we think about our dreams, those are not just dreams. They're not dreams meant to be on a shelf. Those, that would make me happy. For example, Super Rad Steve and I, we were talking just last night, and I mentioned that our friend is going to become a certified fly fishing instructor. He lit up and he's like, that sounds so cool. I didn't even know you could do that. I want to do that. This isn't something new. He's loved fly fishing for as long as I've known him. right? Those deeper desires, that through line in our life of things that bring us fulfillment, satisfaction, pleasure, enjoyment, those things are part of what pre-qualifies us. And so a lot of times we want to dismiss it. I've mentioned this in other mindset episodes, is we want to say, oh, that comes easy for me. So that cannot be the right way. I mean, if it comes easily, that's really not going to be the right path. But actually, that is the right path. The things that bring us pleasure, joy, fulfillment, satisfaction, the things that do come easily for us, all of that happens because we're pre-qualified. We have natural tendencies for a reason. Our DNA we were created with pre-qualifies us. So I'm wondering what you are shelving in your life because you're thinking, I'm too far gone. I'm broken. Nobody can fix me. Well, what are you trying to accomplish? Is that something you really want to generate in your life? Okay, so for example, for me, we all know I love words. I'm talking to a potential partner. That potential partner loves numbers. And we were laughing about this because I said, I love that you love numbers because the way you see numbers is the way I see words. And I love words. If I were trying to love numbers, I would probably cry myself to sleep every night, right? Don't get me wrong, conscious investor. I know my way around numbers and I know how to work them. But when I think about things that bring me joy, fulfillment, satisfaction, it's not numbers. It is words. And I suppose the best numbers as a sidebar is if I can look at word count on something that I'm writing for a publication or as I'm working on my book. Yeah, word counts, those numbers make me really happy, right? But generally speaking, numbers, don't come with ease, joy, or satisfaction for me. So I want you to ask yourself that question. Are you pursuing that is something that is in line with your natural DNA, or are you trying to force something for someone else for some other purpose? Because if I just do this, then I'll get this. Because forcing things to happen, it does lead to us feeling broken because it's just grating on us. Think about it like this. If you are floating down the river, it's really easy, right? And it's fun and it's comfortable. You can be on a raft. Maybe you're going through some little currents. Maybe you're just out there and, enjoying the summer sunshine and it's just a slow float down. Either way, it's easy and it flows and it's relaxing and enjoyable. Okay, take that same raft or that same boat, and I want you to go up the river. Not so easy anymore, right? That becomes really challenging. And it becomes exhausting and fatiguing and tiring and discouraging. And it just makes people feel like they're in the wrong place, like they're broken, like they don't belong. It makes us want to quit oftentimes. Finding the places where it flows in life. That is our sweet spot. And it should flow. It should feel good. Now, that doesn't mean that maybe we're floating down and it's nice and the water's smooth and placid. And then, wow, maybe we hit some class 3, maybe even some class 4, currents. And they jar us around a bit, but we're still flowing. We're still in the flow. It's not the same risk and exhaustion that comes with trying to swim upstream. Life will have that different currents throughout our life. We will experience those different currents, but we can still remain congruent and in the flow of our pre-qualified DNA. I hope this supports you, conscious investor, as you are going about your day. I want to encourage you to look for the places of flow and the places of resistance. And remember, the resistance is different. We can have the bouncy waters while we're in flow, but when we're thinking about the resistance that is causing us to sweat and just more debilitating because it's counterintuitive to our pre-qualified DNA. What would the world look like if every single human being was living in congruence with the way God created them, congruent to their pre-qualified, hardwired DNA? Wouldn't that be an amazing world to live in? I would love to support bringing a world like that around. And you know what? You can help with that. I think that you'll be in alignment with that. So we start with ourselves. We start with looking in the mirror. We start with ensuring that we are living in that congruence. We are pre-qualified. You can remind yourself when you face those faster rapids or maybe some drops while you're in flow, you can remind yourself and even just simply say, oh, I'm pre-qualified for this. And let me tell you from personal experience, as I've been exploring this concept, it gives you a little boost of confidence. It's like, oh, wow, I can do this. This comes naturally to me. I just need to level up my awareness, my clarity, and I just need to maybe paddle a little bit to steer things the right direction. But this is going to be great, and this is fun. I can't wait to hear about how you are exploring this concept of being pre-qualified. So please don't be a stranger. I appreciate all of your ratings and reviews. You blow me away with those. So take a moment, please, and just drop a review and let me know, what are you pre-qualified to do? Now, you can only do this on Apple Podcasts. I know that about half of you listen on Apple Podcasts and the other half of you are on, other platforms, particularly Spotify. And so whatever platform you're on, let me rephrase that. If you're not listening on Apple Podcasts, I know that this is an extra step, but would you mind heading over to Apple Podcasts to leave that review? It would mean the world to me. And most importantly, it helps concepts like this reach other people. So it takes 60, 90 seconds out of your life. Who knows whose life you trust and change the trajectory of that life so that they are living in congruence with their pre-qualified life they were created for. I appreciate you, conscious investor. Remember, we don't want to bankrupt any part of our life while pursuing financial and personal freedom. And so make sure if you need support in any of those areas, I am here for you. I have a coaching slot available. So if you are interested in exploring that concept, or if you're interested in exploring, we will have some syndications coming up early this year. I've been talking with different partners, and it looks like we will have things coming about. I don't want you to miss out. And if you're not on our investor list, you will miss out. So make sure that you schedule time for us to talk, and you can do either of these things down in the show notes. You can find a link. And just in case it's not there, just shoot me a message, theconsciousinvestorpodcast@gmail.com. I appreciate you, conscious investor, and wish you the very best today.